right. Boom. Done. Professional stream. Yeah! Okay. This is the winning formula that won not King of the Sea, sorry, the clan battles setup. Alright, so I'm gonna ram suicide. Cool. So, what do we have? We have 2 boosters and 4 minotaurs! So 2 of them are probably smoke and 2 of them are probably radar with boosters. And what's gonna happen is that you're gonna have this sort of, you're gonna have a scout minotaur. If you've never seen this and you never played against them, Omni played against them frequently. And it was always interesting to say the least. You'll see how they pair up as soon as we ram here, we'll find out. So we've got Minotaur Wooster combo, and what's the thing is the Minotaur is more stealthy, and they don't run with a destroyer setup, where the enemy team is. So AONO is running with 1 Yu Yang. A Stalingrad! Woo! We found a Stalingrad! Double Zaos, double Woosters. Interesting. But the scenario is, the radar is going to be really important here, and the positioning of the Stalingrad, because what happens is, on this flank, the Minotaur might do like the forward spot, and the Wooster can fire, or they can like work as a team. But the real Daka is this group here. You will have a smoke Minotaur, which is probably this guy, Mac, and then you'll have the scouting Minotaur. So the scouting Minotaur spots the targets, and then the smoking Minotaur smokes up, and then these 2 guys just from stealth Daka lots, and then the third one can open up depending on the situation. You'll find that the Minotaur, the Montana is, we'll get into a position where you can aim both sides, and actually see M. Brandis is catching up, so it's the same scenario. You'll have a smoke and a radar. They're 2 groups of Mega Daka. It's pretty gnarly to deal with. And for some reason, I don't understand how TWA is getting the C cap first. Does that mean perhaps the entire AONO team, I mean, they'll know the setup, there's plenty of videos out there that are showing them doing it, has gone down and is aggressively pushing A, ignoring the B cap, staying as a team, and maybe hoping to kind of brute force one side? We will see any moment. So they've got RPF, they must do. They can tell this island's probably a thing. Oh, B cap is now beginning to cap. Maybe the ship disposition of where they started was off, and they wanted to cap later. But it throws the ball sort of, if it goes long, into the TWA's initiative, in that they have the cap lead, or the point lead as it were. And they can allow the enemy to come into them. And we see, this is a reversing Minotaur. So he can escape whenever he wants to and rush out with these fancy Gamescom camo. He's reversing butt in, he's waiting for a radar, he's waiting for a spot, and if he needs to, he can then wiggle and get himself out. And he's being like a sort of almost quasi-destroyer spotting ship for the Wooster to fire over the angles and backup support from Brandis. Over here, they're just looking for the enemy. They know they've got the lead. They have 1 Minotaur slowly going to try and cap A, so I guess TWA is playing it smart. They don't need to push up. Interesting, Max going all by himself. I'm guessing they've got their RPF contacts. Nope. They're pinging here, so maybe he knows he's got an RPF contact and there's still someone at B. It seems kind of risky for the 1 Minotaur to go by himself, but then again, he only has to worry about 1 destroyer, and if there's deep water torps here, then they know that the Yuang's over here, and nothing can outspot this 1 Minotaur. And if he's going off by himself, it's quite possible that he's radar, so if he is detected, he pops his radar, and then he sees exactly where the enemy is. And interesting as well, Goat Wizard is not quite going into the cap. He's just loitering very slowly, and I wonder if he's kind of tilting back and forth on the accelerator. Simply because if you go into A, you announce your presence. And our first smoke from AONO that's seen. Ewing is spotted. Now is that probably a yeah, it's a radar. Little tap. Ooh, Montana just misses, unfortunate. So Worcester is in smoke by the Yu-Yang, and they're returning fire on Goat Wizard. Goat Wizard taking a bunch of damage, but again, he's British Cruiser. He can heal up. Montana tried to take a shot at said Goat. And Mac is actually probably just doing scouting, watching the flank. Oh, and there's our hero Stalingrad as well. Way up in the distance. Detectable from the moon. So the Montana, yeah, the Montana took a shot at the Stalingrad, but he's pretty armored. But he does take a lot of kind of damage. And see, yeah, hiding behind the smoke, Worcester's able to take shots at the Stalingrad, probably at extreme range. Yeah, probably extreme range. Usually you'll see in clan battle scenarios that teams don't go for damage per minute, they go for maximum range, and they'll also, you know, go hydro and that type of stuff, since they don't have to worry about planes. Slow tip, alright, here we go. The initiative now is going with AONO because they're pushing the A cap. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, there's 5 enemy ships from TWA side that they can see on the A cap from the minimap last known position. That means Montana's on B and there's probably a second one there. So the 3 ships on the flank can move up and it's 3 versus 2. And then maybe it can do damage here. So it's like, oh, is that a deep water torp? Nope, Worcester had dodges it. A little scuffle going on. I think the AONO team is taking more damage than they're dealing. Wow, the Zhao just took a massive whack as well from the broadside. This is the Montana probably shots firing into him. And here comes like this deadly, deadly trap. If that Minotaur can spot or move up, I don't know if this one's got smoke or not, but they're waiting to pounce. They're just crawling ever so gently. And they know where the Montana is. Oh. Sport plane sees him. AA's on. So AONO now knows there's a Worcester and the Minotaur coming up. Defense fire probably popped by the Worcester because he has it no matter what. He doesn't have to shoot, mix and match. So that goes down. But the push is known. That's really, really important. It's just now to see what AONO does about it. RPF is telling maybe there's a kind of a higher flank on B. Well, at this point, AONO has the lead. They've got the advantage. They have the double cap. And health pool wise, other than that one Worcester that was over on the western edge, they have the advantage. That they are in a good position. The question is, on the western flank, they have more ships, 5 versus 4, and they can just hold down the A. If anyone pushes up to A, they get radared, or they get detected by the Stalingrad's radar, or the Worcester or the Yu-Yang, so there'll be detectability, and they can push him out, and he would lose health. So now comes the fact is, what happens here? Have they pulled a Zhao back? Where is the 7th ship? The Montana, he knows what's going to happen, so he's crawling forwards, because he doesn't want to get torped, and he's waiting for them to come around the corner, because he doesn't want to get Daka'd on the side, right? He doesn't know where they are, but he's got a rough idea. He's not detected, but this Montana can fire on, nose on, so it's like, this team is probably going to win it for TWA. We just have to see what happens, because over here, they're just playing a patient waiting game. And it is a patient game. It's still 5 minutes of gameplay. Anything can happen. It's like, I must be crawling at quarter speed or less. I mean, oh no, they know where he is, because we've obviously got sight, and that's probably that Minotaur over there, maybe giving some detection. Oh, the guns are actually pointed, a bit of a mixture. Oh, there we go. Worcester spotted, trying to leave, so the Worcester and the Minotaur are going to fire on him. And this guy's isolated, and he's got Daka from 2 directions. He can't angle either way. If he turns away, he gets broadside in the Minotaur and the Worcester. The Montana can't come back and help. I think this guy's going to go down fairly quickly. I mean, there we go. He goes into stealth. I was going to say his detection range is like under 10 kilometers. So there isn't like a long range radar either. There isn't like, because both teams here, I only have a radar that goes up to 9.5 kilometers, or under 10, that's the key number. So, best thing this booster can do is move and go around. While we're at it, the Montana from AONO is firing on the Minotaur, but it's like a 17-kilometer shot. That would be wishful thinking. Gets a clip, but the issue is, this Montana from AONO is now pushing into the Montana from TWA, so he's always going to be able to fire on this guy. Minotaur perhaps a bit far. What does the rest of the AONO team doing? Are they pushing down a flank? Do they need to push down the flank? Well, not necessarily. To be fair, they might actually want to sit on these islands and come back and help this Pupisha 3. You see the Montana's actually rotated around, so he feels safe enough to move up, gets broadside shots and anything over here, and he can now support his Worcester Minotaur, who's now redetected. I'm guessing his detection range, he's either open fire or he's within that sort of 10-kilometer detection zone again. Yeah, he's at 9.2, so the radar maybe from mag or even just sight. And this is how they get into the game, because they're on 800 points. If he can get stealth again, it's another 2 minutes. He's outside of radar here. Is can he live long enough? He needs to stop firing. He needs to stop firing and go into stealth. He is at that crucial distance where he's not going to be seen if he goes stealth. Oh, this is close. The BB's going to be probably firing it as well. Still seen. Trying to live. Oh, the wiggles are real. Those are BB shots. 9.9. Oh my god. He goes stealth. Is that enough to live? Is that enough to live? Barely alive. The A-cap, however, is now flipping. The reversing Minotaur from Goat Wizard is in. They're trying a blind fire. I think the Worcester survives. See, the Zhao and Stalingrad from AONO has come back, but that means they probably don't have enough firepower to push off the Minotaur on A. Maybe they've pulled back too many, and maybe the Stalingrad didn't need to come. Maybe just the Zhao would have been enough, because you just need to prevent a cap. You just need to punish. This Montana from AONO is in a great position in terms of he's not taking anything, and if he wants to take a ram trade, that's also fine from AONO's point of view. They have the cap advantage, or they had it. But interestingly, if we look at the cap tiners, it doesn't matter. There's a sufficient amount of lead that AONO will win, provided they don't lose any other ships. But their Yu Yang is now spotted. Popping a smoke. He's outside radar. Oh, no, he's not. Sorry, the Minotaur of M. Brandis, although that's a smoking Minotaur, so he should go stealth any moment now. The issue is, can they survive? Now, did they just pass right each other, the two Montanas? Dude, you should have taken the ram! Oh, if you'd taken the ram, you would have mitigated their firepower on your Stalingrad. He's total broadside. Taking the ram would have been such a better thing to do. Or, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, he is locking these guys out from pushing any further, and it's going to be hard to hit him, and you can maybe slam him. But the cruisers... Oh, the Worcester spotted again, because he's opening fire. Should he be opening fire? Is he opening fire because he knows the Minotaur's opening fire? Well, he's getting shots in the aperture, but he's broadside to this Worcester. This Montana's going to go down, and another point is going to flip. Oh, and they're stalling the B-cap as well. Alright, so they've pushed up, they've got the smoke. And then the Minotaur's pushing up. This is the fallback. And see, this is where AONO was doing well, but then when push comes to shove, and then TW says, right, now we're going to attack. It's just crippling. And it's good positioning with the ships. You can see how there's one over here, there's a guy over here. The Zhao just can't angle properly. He's always being chipped at. There's a wide enough of an arc that fire at one, you'll get punished by another. And that's 1,000 points. TWA takes it. And that is why they are the season winners for clan battles. Is it anything special? It's a mixture of patience. Doesn't matter if they've not got point lead or they don't have the most number of caps. It's a low kill game, in that it's just the enemy team, but that's kind of more of a snowballing element. One thing's AONO was in a good spot. They had the 2 caps, they had reasonable health pools, and they knew what the enemy was up to. A couple of minutes to react. Did the Stalingrad need to come back? Could its radar have been kept over A? Long-range radar was pulled away from the central cap on the west. That might have spotted the Minotaur that was going with the cap, and if the firepower was there just to push him off or punish him, you know, a little bit from the Stalingrad, maybe from Zhao, Worcester, or the Yuyang over there, they could have pushed him away. Bringing back just the Zhao might have been enough to shoot or give support to the running away Worcester of AONO. However, smoke push comes in, so the Minotaur and the Worcester push up into the AONO cap, but that's only because the Montana pushed too far forwards, because the Montana is watching that flank. As soon as they come along that island into the cap, the Montana's stopping that from happening. However, he has to deal with the enemy battleship, and there's no ships from AONO that's there to punish the enemy battleship, the Montana pushing flank and broadside to the rest of the cruisers. Maybe in hindsight, AONO could have tried to get in a position where they were protected on the western flank, so they couldn't be fired from the west, but they could shoot over to the east and try and hit the battleship. But that's obviously also assuming that they could even see the incoming Montana. So, still, fun nonetheless. Let's see what we can find. I found that typically the tactics to dealing with TWA, at least from the Omni's point of view, is to be aggressive. And what I mean by that is, in this game, AONO had the kind of the cap advantage and the point advantage, so they were stationary, they were waiting, and that allowed TWA to decide, alright, we're going to need to make a play, and we're going to take the initiative, and we're going to move along here and see what the enemy can do. Whereas I believe in the games that when Omni beat this system, it's far more aggression. It's like, you know the team's going to split, so it's can you overpower 4 versus 3 or 3 versus 3, and then how do you do it? You need like a front man to spot, you need a radar ship, and you need to make it so that they can't escape. You need to run them down, because they'll try and run away, because the thing is, the Minotaurs and the Worcester are squishy, they have a lot of firepower though, and the issue is, they will run away so that their battleship can cover them with flanking fire. So it's, can you get into a set position where you can charge one flank without the BB getting good shots in at you, and punish them for splitting up in that sense. At least that's my experience.